It's been around 20 years since Ford officially sold a large SUV in the UK. That was the Explorer, and while it was very spacious and comfortable, it carried with it some rather typical American traits, the biggest being poor fuel economy. During that absence, the demand set by 4x4 owners have grown. Not only is it expected to do all the jobs expected of a large SUV, but it's also meant to be refined, well-built and car-like in the way it drives on the road and not break the bank every time you stop for fuel. So the big question is, has it succeeded to tick all those boxes? The Edge is available with the choice of two diesel engines with either 178 or 208 brake horsepower. Now we've already seen those engines in the Mondeo, the S-Max and the Galaxy. The lower powered version does feel a little out of puff, especially when you bear in mind that it does weigh in at just under 2 tons. 0 to 60 takes just under 10 seconds. So you'd automatically think that the more powerful version was the one to go for, but it's not that much quicker. The lower powered version is available with a manual or automatic gearbox, whereas the 208 brake horsepower version is an auto only, and that means that economy is reasonable rather than outstanding. Both will average around 48 miles per gallon. That's largely due to the lack of a front wheel drive version. Emissions for both are around 150 grams per kilometre of CO2, meaning even the cheapest model will cost around £225 per year. Now the Edge is a big car and it really feels it to drive. It's over 2 metres wide, which means it's not the sort of car that's going to be easy to fling through town traffic. It is very comfortable. All but sport models get a comfort orientated suspension which wafts over potholes around town. The setup of the Sport is a little firmer than you would expect, and road imperfections are a little more intrusive because of the larger 20-inch alloy wheels. One thing is for sure, the Edge looks like a typical big American SUV, and Ford is pitching it towards a more premium buyer. A big imposing grille and angular features really make it stand out. And when you get around the back, the steeply raked rear window and high shoulder line really enhance the Edge's quality intentions. Inside, anyone familiar with the S-Max will easily get to grips with the functionality. There are some cheap plastics on show, but there are some soft touch materials on the bits that count. The seating position is nice and high, one of the key selling points of a 4x4, and there's plenty of adjustment for the seat and steering wheel to get the perfect driving position. There are 3 infotainment systems which have been featured in other Ford models. The basic touchscreen Sync 2 8-inch system though is a little fiddly. While it's spacious, it is only a 5-seater, but no one will grumble about the lack of head or legroom. It's also got one of the biggest boots in its class, 602 litres with the seats up, 1,847 litres with the seats down, all electric of course. While the Edge is a good all-rounder, it's pretty hard to justify against some rivals that offer more equipment and an extra pair of seats in the boot, all for the same price. And while running costs aren't the best in class either, they're still not bad for such a sizable 4x4. Ultimately, what you'll be getting is a spacious and